Exactly what I just said that, right? What's good, y'all? If you're new to the channel, my name is Shadiq, and you're not like the KRXOVR Media. I didn't even want to spend too much time on this intro. I'm just excited to see that Clavish dropped 2 tracks, actually. I know he dropped this one, and he dropped the General's Corner. I'm going to try to check that one out. But people really rated this one highly in my most recent poll. In my community tab, that's where you can go if you want to request any reactions in the future. Clavish is an incredibly talented artist. I just wish he was a little bit more consistent, but I want to hear what this one is saying, so I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. Let's get it. Clavish is one of those artists where he has like relatively simple wordplay that's always placed at the right moment, and it makes it hit completely different.
I got ops that want me to die, got cops that want me to ride, bird just trying to get on in my life.
Exactly what I just said that, right? That's not even necessarily a punchline. It's just a very simple statement. Anyway, I'm gonna let it rock a little bit, and then I'm gonna comment on that later.
I got ops that want me to die, got cops that want me to ride, bird just trying to get on in my life. She just wanna get on it and ride. Drip too hard and I'm outside, so they can't help but look at me nice.
It sounds like a project intro.
More than shine, so she can't help but look at me twice. Leg shot, car you ain't on.
He said 2 tones. She can't help but look at me twice. That what you just said?
Drip too hard and I'm outside, so they can't help but look at me nice. 2 tone does more than shine, so she can't help but look at me twice. Leg shot, car you ain't on. Crash really trying to put one in his mind. My teachers all had something.
He said I'm trying to put one in his mind. Exactly what I said in the beginning, right? He doesn't say anything that's super duper intricate, but it's just something about the way that he delivers it and the moments that he chooses to says it, and even the way that he opened it with regards to how he said the cops want me to ride, right? That is a very subtle but relatively, I don't want to necessarily say deep, but kind of like an insightful perspective per se, right? The notion of like the police want you to go and do XYZ so that way they can, you know, they can arrest you. I always say that at the end of the day, police need crime in order to have a job. So
a car you ain't on. Crash really trying to put one in his mind. My teachers all had something in common. They thought I was one of a kind. Girl, I know you got work in the morning. Shouldn't stop you trying to bust it tonight. The streets know I legit put work in. Say that I don't, then it must be a lie. Too hot for dates and Tiger Bay. Sexy fish and Scion Lounge. I'ma keep it close on a normal day. Even when I'm not riding out. My G's being merry, you can't get near me. My AR's home will do you up clearly. Broad daylight.
That flow sequence is cool. And the way that he just, I didn't even want to necessarily say random, but the way that he just like subtly transitioned into it caught me completely off guard. He had like the more simple flow in the beginning and jumped right into that one.
Fish and Scion Lounge, I'ma keep it close on a normal day. Even when I'm not riding out. My G's being merry, you can't get near me. My AR's home will do you up clearly. Broad daylight.
That was close.
In the evening, my diamonds dance. I know that they're sleep. Too hot for dates and Tiger Bay. Sexy fish and Scion Lounge, I'ma keep it close on a normal day. Even when I'm not riding out.
Like this could have been the hook, I'm not gonna lie.
Near me, my AR's home will do you up clearly. Broad daylight or touch in the evening, my diamonds dance. I know I'm doing better than most my peers in school. I got straight A's and B's. I see my ops in other Snapchatters, I'm shining. I know they hate to see. I was in jail, couldn't wait to leave. Fly red lights, can't wait for green. Dude told Plain, told the cat I'ma be 3 hours, he's still gonna wait for me. This hoe from Manny told me she had a dream, she ate my D. I spat in her mouth, rags that clean and shit.
How did we get here? Man went from jail to girls from Manny. Okay.
Even when I'm not riding out, my jeans being merry, you can't get.
Is this the hook? I feel like it could be the hook.
Broad daylight or touch in the evening, my diamonds dance. I know I'm doing better than most my peers in school. I got straight A's and B's. I see my ops in other Snapchatters, I'm shining. I know they hate to see. I was in jail, couldn't wait to leave. Fly red lights, can't wait for green. Dude told Plain, told the cat I'ma be 3 hours, he's still gonna wait for me. This hoe from Manny told me she had a dream, she ate my D. I spat in her mouth, rags that clean, and she got a man. You see what I mean? And you.
Nah, I was about to reach. I want to say, is he doing like a subtle alphabet sequence? But I don't think he is. It almost sounded like, 'cause I heard the A's and B's and he said the D part. So I was wondering if maybe there was like an alphabet sequence kind of in there. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Ate my D, I spat in her mouth, rags that clean, and she
Probably
got a man.
isn't though.
See what I mean? And you done some snaky shit, so whose fault is it you're not with the team? Or you think these toys are fake? Keep the same energy when it beams. When I'm breaking down a 9, Only time I'm cutting the corner. I don't really go parties, so if I say that I'm coming in order. Security touching me up like say me and gang ain't both got a borer. If the party's local, close enough, better man we don't come with a sawn off. Niggas know what I do with a blade, trying to give some scars and trauma.
I was trying to find a good place to pause. You know what's something I really like about Clavish too? Not many artists can flow, not even necessarily just flow, can complement a simple beat very well. I think that some artists kind of need the beat to be a little bit more full, to have a little bit more going on. Clavish, he even had like a whole freestyle, the 100 miles per hour freestyle part 2, I think, where like it was like until the last like 45 seconds of the song or something like that, you know, for the beat to drop. But every single moment was still just as, what's what I'm looking for? It was just as exciting, I guess. I don't know, like just what he was doing lyrically and the way that he changes the inflections in his voice and stuff, that adds almost the same amount of nuance, I guess, that just having more instruments in the beat can do.
Trying to get down somebody's son and go spoil somebody's daughter. Winter time still hot where I'm from.
I like that bar because it reminded me of Somebody's Son by Abs, and he had the Somebody's Daughter reference in the song.
Go parties, so if I say that I'm coming in order. Security touching me up like say me and gang ain't both got a borer. If the party's local, close enough, better man we don't come with a sawn off. Niggas know what I do with a blade, trying to give some scars and trauma. Trying to get down somebody's son and go spoil somebody's daughter. Winter time still hot where I'm from, but where I'm from summer's just warmer. Meeting rappers, but
that also reminds me of a bar from UNOT and KO and Nine Ting, where they said something like that. But what was it? The beef gets hot, something is still intense, whatever it was. But there was a bar in the beginning that's made a reference to like it being hot in the winter. I think it was KO who said that, but one of them said it.
Winter time still hot where I'm from.
I forgot who it was, but one of them said
just
it.
Warmer. I'm meeting rappers, but the rhymes they rap don't match their aura. You don't know shit about keeping it G, got touched and started informing. If broski can't get in with a whistle, sorry I won't be performing. If we went on a ride when it was
small touch, those little things. I was just about to say too, again, Clavish does really well on these, for lack of a better way to say, I'm gonna say empty beats. The beats where it's almost like just a melody, but he does very well. And then like the subtle beat drops right afterwards. He's probably one of the only artists I could think of who could really get away with it. I don't know what it is about his style, but he's one of the few that can get away with it. I can only imagine how tricky it might be to produce for him, especially if you're like a producer that's like in the studio, to come up with the melody and have to drop everything else and then build everything other than the melody around it whenever he feels like it, right? That must be pretty challenging as a producer, especially for producers who are more accustomed to kind of jam-packing their beats with just everything. That's really what helps distinguish a producer from a beat maker, you feel me?
the aura. He don't know shit about keeping it G, got touched and started informing. If broski can't get in with a whistle, sorry I won't be performing. If we went on a ride when it was night, see nothing, we're back by the morning. Niggas can't tell me nothing about gliding. In my prime that shit was exciting. And my party attract to the lighties. If I cop an AP that's frightening. It was me on the ones in ISIS. Came home, I rested, I iced it. When they think you got money, it's funny how when they talk to you it's the nicest. If you see us out in a public place, hella shanks, so we got the piping. Too hot for dates and tiger bait. Sexy fish and Scion lounge. I'ma keep it close on a normal day. Even when I'm not riding out. My G's being merry, can't get
this is the hook. Okay, cool.
Will do you up clearly. Broad daylight or touch in the evening. My diamonds dance. I know that it's steaming. Too hot for dates and tiger bait. Sexy fish and Scion lounge. I'ma keep it close on a normal day. Even when I'm
those who said it's a must, I agree with you.
This
is a good try.
Broad daylight or touch in the evening. My diamonds dance. I know that it's steaming.
It's a good try. And it's a good bit of a break from just like, you know, just the drill, straight up drill. It has more, I guess, of like a trap vibe. Y'all let me know in the comment section like how you would classify this. I guess it's kind of like a trap vibe, I would say. It's definitely trap. And Clavish is also more so trap in his content too. He isn't one of those just straight up to just really drill. Like he has the elements in there, but yeah, this was a good one. I definitely respect those who said that this one was a must. I agree with you. I definitely do. So in this channel, we hold the vows. That means we're getting straight into it. I'm giving this one a 9. I'm actually really happy I enjoyed this one. Clavish is one of those artists where for some reason, as much as I know that he's a good artist, I always feel like a little bit nervous going into his songs. I don't know why. Like I was actually just thinking about that like right before I jumped into this segment. Like I just kind of wonder if there's going to be a moment where I'm just like, damn, I'm not feeling this one. But I don't think he's ever had that moment for me yet. So I think I can safely say that every time he drops something, it's probably going to be a banger. I guess maybe part of it kind of comes from the fact that he does take his breaks. So I guess there's always that kind of uncomfortable feeling of like wondering if in between that break he kind of lost it a little bit, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. Really going straight into this one, his flows were A1. He came through with everything that you can expect from a Clavish flow, but also throwing in those switches in there. Like I said, the way that he chooses the beats allows his flows to kind of accentuate, because the beats typically aren't that crazy, they aren't that busy. But at the same time, I do have to give respect to the people who do make beats for Clavish, because like I said, that's the difference between being a beat maker and a producer. I think that I wouldn't doubt that these are the kind of beats that somebody has to sit with him to do. I don't think I can necessarily hear somebody just making that as a beat and sending it over. I don't think that a lot of producers, or rather beat makers, however you want to look at it, composers, or whatever will be the appropriate term, are sitting down and making just melodies. I think maybe people who make the loops to share with other producers or beat makers or something, but I think you gotta really be in a space with Clavish to see what his creative direction is in order to make a beat that's gonna work out. And this beat was definitely one of those. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but that's just the impression that I get. I also think that with the fact that the beat drop always comes in at just the right moment for some reason, like as long as the delay may be, it just still feels just as heavy when the beat finally hits, even though you're kind of anticipating it. But I think also part of what helps with that is the fact that Clavish is always kind of telling you stories, if not one whole story, throughout his flows. It's almost like every single time the flow itself switches, the narrative switches, but in a way that doesn't feel too jumpy. Maybe with that one part that I pointed out with the Manchester reference, but other than that, I think that it's very easy to still see a song like this, which can very much so feel like a freestyle in the sense that there isn't any one particular central topic. But to do that in such a way that it still feels cohesive, that's something I have to give Clavish credit for with his lyricism. And as I opened up the whole reaction with as well, I really like the fact that he just has these lines that aren't necessarily super intricate or just super heavy in terms of like the wordplay. However, the picture that's being painted and the point that's being delivered is what ends up being heavy. I don't know what it is exactly about Clavish, just something that he does. Maybe it's the way that he picks the moments to throw those lines in there, like the line that he opened with like the police want me to do a crime or something along those lines. And that's the main reason why I make sure to give Clavish his credit. It's just something about the way that he chooses to place those lines at just the right moment, and then again, coupling that with just the right beat that isn't boring, but at the same time it just allows you to really hone in on what he's saying. I have to give him credit. I don't think there's really any other artist I can think of off the top of my head who does that so well. And then for the replay value, this is a very replayable song. I almost kind of impulsively gave this one a 9, but I have been giving myself an opportunity to really reflect on the songs as I listen to them and kind of compare them to songs that I may have given a lower or higher rating and that I really actually end up listening to for real. And I think that this is one of those where impulsively I may want to give it a 9. However, compared to the songs that I really listen to on a daily basis, it's not exactly on those levels. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but oftentimes I kind of like those kind of hype beats to a degree, and I think the fact that Clavish doesn't necessarily always choose super hype beats, that's one of the things that's really not going to make me want to run to play this over. But it is also one of those that I would play on a playlist, that I would play for somebody, that I also would play in the background like while I'm doing something. So I really have to make sure that I shout him out for that, because not many artists can have a calm vibe but still have something that's super duper replayable. But anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. What are your favorite Clavish songs? Who are some artists you want to hear him collab with? I didn't throw any collab recommendations like I usually do, so I think on the top of my head I can hear him in Millions on a track. I don't know, something about it, I think it may work really well. Maybe even T-Zandos. I feel like I often throw the same artists in these recommendations, but I think it's also because those artists tend to do well with other artists. But anyway, hang tight for some more reactions. I do got more of those coming for y'all, but until next time, peace.